on the left are not feeling happy. They're not sitting in an outdoor arena waiting for the president. They are despondent, and that would include First Lady Michelle Obama, who just sat down with Oprah to explain her sadness.
Your husband's administration, everything, the election, was all about hope. Do you think that this administration achieved that?
Yes, I do, because we feel the difference now.
Yeah.
See, now we're feeling what not having hope feels like. You know, hope is necessary. It's a necessary concept. And Barack didn't just talk about hope because he thought it was just a nice slogan to get votes. I mean, he and I and so many believe that what else do you have if you don't have hope?
Yeah. Well, that's really the question, since we no longer have hope, according to the First Lady. Joining us now is Democratic strategist Jessica Tarloff. Ms. Tarloff, great to see you tonight. So here's my question. Here's the obvious question. So Michelle Obama sees her husband elected and tells us she's proud of her country for the first time. Now she sees his legacy repudiated, as it just was, in November, and she says hope is gone. The message appears to be Barack Obama is the country, and the country's fortunes rise and fall with his. This is a cult of personality she's describing, not a republic.
Well, President Obama actually is a cult of personality. When you look at his approval rating, upwards of 55%, and the fact that everyone else in government is distrusted and disliked, she's right. I mean, Barack Obama stands alone here, and right now he's overwhelmingly popular. And I think that she felt it was necessary to make this argument that she was making on the campaign trail throughout this. You know, she went out there and stumped for Hillary Clinton, who, you know, I don't think I'm revealing a big secret here. I don't think she's a massive fan of, naturally, you know, after what went on in 2008. And she went out there to make sure that her husband's legacy was going to be cemented. And as you said, now it's going to be completely repudiated by someone who was a leading figure in the birther movement. So I understand why she's not feeling particularly hopeful right now.
But she didn't just say that she doesn't feel hopeful. She said the country doesn't feel hopeful. And I guess this is just yet another, this is example 437 this week, of the Democratic unwillingness to come to terms with what just happened. So her husband's approval rating is above 50, you noted. It's not stratospheric, but it's better than he deserves. But if people loved the president so much and his policies so much, why did Hillary Clinton just lose? She was running as a third term.
She was running as a third term, not only his third term, but also her husband's third term, and that's incredibly difficult. If you look throughout history, it's almost impossible to win a third term, even for one guy, even one great guy, and we have two here. So I think that that's just flat out difficult, but as we've talked about before, this was a change election. You know, the second part of Barack Obama's slogan, hope and change, and Americans wanted that. People all over the world want that right now, and it obviously wasn't the right time, and I won't go so far to say as it was the wrong candidate, because when you lose by just 80,000 votes, I think we could have tinkered with the campaign program, you know, sent her more to Michigan and Wisconsin, less to Arizona and Georgia, and then, you know, we'd be waiting for Hillary Clinton at that open-air auditorium, and I'd be thrilled.
Because there's always a technocratic solution. Just read more papers, let's bring an Ira Magaziner and reverse engineer. So, but I would say two things. First, this current First Lady has gotten a pass for 8 years. She said a lot of really nasty, divisive, and political things, and no one calls her on it, and that's frustrating to me in the press. But what's most frustrating is when she says, as she did today, that her husband's a grown-up. The suggestion is that Trump and his supporters are not. Isn't this exactly the attitude that lost Hillary Clinton the election? The idea that if you disagree with me, you're not fully a citizen, an adult, a sentient being. I'm going to infantilize you, pat you in the head, tell you to go away.
I think it's a very smart argument to be making. I think that we were hurt dramatically by the PC police argument and that deplorables comment. You know, it resonated really well with the left, but there are a lot of people out there that took issue with it, and I thought it was a mistake to make it, and certainly to attach a number to say 50% or more. So I think that you're right there. Michelle Obama, though, has an overwhelmingly high approval rating as well. I think it's 66% currently. And
well, when
as
you're
you know, she was the best on the campaign trail.
Fawning profile. Why? You know what I mean? Like, people kind of believe what they're told. I mean, has there ever been a tough piece on Michelle Obama, ever? I mean, I'm not even sure it's legal for me to ask that question. I may be pulled away in the middle of this segment. You can't criticize her.
Oh, really? Can I host the rest of the show, then? I'll do the rally coverage.
We're locking the doors. But, I mean, there's been a lot of, and I'm not saying, you know, you shouldn't attack a president's wife or a candidate's wife, but if that person is an active participant in politics, you can, right?
Well, I think that if someone is dealing in issues, there's always ample room there to criticize and to discuss. I think that it's been terrible how Melania Trump has been treated, certainly in contrast, the whole thing about how designers won't dress her and going after her personally. You know, she doesn't really seem like she wants to be there anyway, and she got yanked into this thing in the first place. And we could, you know, in a whole other segment about going on about the racial tensions issue and what it would be like to criticize Michelle Obama versus somebody else. So I take your point there. I will have to find a hard-hitting piece on Michelle Obama and her character and things that she said. I think it exists. I'll get back to you.
You know what? It's a little like the missing link. It's got to exist because science suggests it does, but we haven't found it yet. $20 to you if you do. Jessica Tarlock, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks, Tucker.
Appreciate it.